India. Land of snow-capped mountains, dense jungles, vast deserts, and enchanting lakes. One of the most biodiverse countries in the world. India is home to countless species found nowhere else on Earth. This incredible aerial journey captures the nation's stunning natural wonders from above for the first time. Showing how geography and the patterns of nature mold both the landscape and the lives of its people. India, covering almost 1.2 million square miles and home to over 1 billion people. This vast country stretches nearly 2,000 miles from the warm Indian Ocean in the south to the mighty frozen Himalaya mountains in the far north. Water is a precious natural resource here, especially for agriculture. About 70% of the population of India lives in rural parts. The majority of them depend on agriculture for their livelihoods. Some of these farmers living in desolate areas use water to cultivate a crop that is neither vegetable nor animal. Seen from above, the Rann of Kutch looks completely barren. Rann means desert. Thousands of years ago, it was a shallow arm of the Arabian Sea. The salt from the sea is now locked 20 to 30 feet below the cracked earth. Annual rains create temporary lakes. The temperature here can reach 122 degrees Fahrenheit. When this extreme heat begins to dry up the lake, farmers rush to harvest a valuable product. Lakshman rises at dawn every morning between October and June to mine salt.
ગરમીના મીઠાના ધંધો હું કરું છું ઉનાળો એક શિયાળ હોય તેમને ધંધો કરું છું અને મને આ ઘર જેવું લાગે છે બધું અને કાંઈ ના કામ કરું છું એમ.
Lakshman is a salt farmer from the Agadia community. The name is derived from the word agar, meaning salt in Gujarati, one of India's 22 official languages. Lakshman and his fellow farmers in the Rann of Kutch produce 3/4 of India's salt. The earlier they start piling the salt, the more they will earn. Lakshman uses a technique to extract it that hasn't changed for over 5 generations. First, he uses his own body weight to level out the earth into shallow, flat basins called pans. Our aerial view reveals these roughly rectangular pans which spring up after the monsoon season. Lakshman uses solar pumps to fill the pans with salt water from beneath the ground. The hot sun starts to evaporate the water. The salt that is left behind crystallizes. Lakshman uses a salt rake to loosen the crystals from the soil. He tends to his pans 10 hours a day to ensure maximum yield. After 15 days of tough physical work, anywhere between 13 to 16 tons of salt is ready for harvest and then selling at the market.
हमारा बाप दादा आना धंधो करता था અને મેં એની પાસે હું આના ધંધો કરું હું.
Lakshman will keep working until June, when the ground has given up all the salt it can for this season. India is on the crossroads between the East and the West. It has welcomed visitors for millennia. This spirit is part of its culture and tradition. Indians believe in an ancient line in the Hindu scriptures that reads, Atiti Devo Bhava. Literally translated, it means a guest is equivalent to God. This philosophy represents a unique relationship of a host and guest, irrespective of where they come from. One particular village in the state of Rajasthan in the northwest welcomes a special kind of guest each fall. Nearly 500 miles away from the Rann of Kutch is a town called Kichan. A section of the state is engulfed in the great Indian Thar Desert. The town receives very little rainfall. Productive agricultural land is scarce. Although grain is a precious commodity here, one of Kichan's residents pours out dozens of bags onto the ground. Bhavar Ramji has done this every day between September and March for the past 10 years. A ritual he has maintained to host a special visitor. This is the reason why. The Demoiselle Crane. Legend says the infamous French queen, Marie Antoinette, named them in the 18th century. She believed the birds looked like graceful young women. Come September, and thousands of these hungry birds filled the sky above Kichan.
तादाद करीब 35,000 जाती है, कोई 40,000 चले जाती है। जब ज़्यादा सर्दी ज़्यादा आती है, सर्दी कम है तो कम आ जाती है।
cranes are seasonal visitors to India. They spend the summer months in Mongolia. When the temperature drops, they embark on an epic journey following an ancient migratory route. They fly south at an altitude of about 26,000 feet over the Himalayas. It's a journey of approximately 2 weeks. Kichan has become a destination for the demoiselle cranes for approximately 70 years. Villagers like Baba Ramji take this age-old tradition forward. He understands the value of feeding these birds through the winter months. He feeds them nearly 1.4 million pounds of grain over 6 months between October and March. That is enough to make close to 2 million loaves of bread. Most of this food is given to the villagers by donors from around the world.
इसके लिए बहुत पैसे आते हैं सब, चंदा भी बहुत देते हैं, भरपूर देते हैं। जवार के लिए कोई कमी नहीं है, बहुत अभी तो चारों गोदाम भरा हुआ है, इतनी जवार अभी आ गई।
This generosity ensures the villagers of Kichan are able to feed and water the cranes that come to stay for the winter.
बढ़िया लगता नहीं है, हमारा किचन गांव ऐसा है। मार्च के बाद बहुत बुरा लगता है कि सुना सुना हो जाता है गांव, ये बोलती नहीं है, घूमती नहीं है, बहुत सुना हो जाता है।
The birds take to the wing when spring arrives. But they'll be back in 6 months to find a cozy winter home with Baba Ramji and the kind souls of Kichan. And with that, Baba Ramji's task will start all over again. India accounts for about 4% of the world's fresh water. Conservation of this precious resource is crucial in an arid state like Rajasthan. So, for nearly 1,000 years, people in the village of Abaneri used groundwater from this step well. The Chand Baudi step well has 3,500 steps across 13 levels. The villagers would walk 100 feet down this architectural marvel to fetch water. Countless lives in Abaneri relied on this remarkable water management system. Water also rules the lives of a unique group of people on the opposite side of the country in the far northeast. It's early morning on Lokduk Lake. A student arrives by boat at her elementary school. But this school is unlike any other in India because it floats, the first of its kind in the country. A bird's eye view of Loktak reveals that the lake is covered in patches of vegetation floating on the surface of the water. Some are circular. Others are more irregular in shape and support structures like the school. These islands are called Fumdis. The Meitei people have lived on them for hundreds of years. The Fumdis are made up of thickened soil, vegetation, and organic matter in various stages of decay. On these Fumdis, they build their homes, called Fumsangs. At Loktak Lake, the Meitei have pioneered a unique fish farming technique. They cut the Fumdis into rectangular strips and arrange them in circular shapes called attapams. Once the attapam is anchored, a net is cast within it. Fish farming is the Meitei's primary source of income. Here, fishermen make their livelihood by catching 6.6 million pounds of fish every year. Loktak Lake is the largest body of fresh water in northeast India. It covers 95 square miles, but it's just 8.8 feet deep on average. The largest island spreads across an area of 15 square miles and supports the Kebul Lamjau National Park. The only floating national park in the world. Today, Loktak Lake and the surrounding area is in line to become a UNESCO World Heritage Site. As the school day comes to an end for this young student, she journeys home by boat across this unique ecosystem she calls home. India covers 2.4% of the Earth's landmass. Some of the nation's most spectacular landscapes are molded by fresh water. Yet, it is a weather phenomenon that begins over the salty ocean that dictates the lives of Indians more than any other. It makes landfall over the state of Kerala on the southwest coast. The Indian monsoon. It has watered these lands for at least 40 million years. This weather pattern delivers nearly 80% of India's annual rainfall. It swells rivers and irrigates crops. Monsoon is a lifeline for India's millions of farmers. It's early June morning in the village of Viringam. Kumaran and his uncle are preparing to go fishing, as they do every day. The powerful swells of the Arabian Sea can sometimes make catching fish off Viringam Harbour a big challenge. And today, Kumaran has to battle more than just the moods of the sea. The dark clouds signal the approach of an occurrence that sweeps in from the ocean every year. The stormy weather poses a problem for fishermen like Kumaran.
മഴ നല്ലതാണ്, മഴ എല്ലാവർക്കും നല്ലതാണ്. പക്ഷേ ഞങ്ങൾ പണിക്ക് പോകുമ്പം മീൻ കിട്ടത്തില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് കുടുംബത്തിൽ കഴിക്കാൻ പോലും ഇല്ലാതാവുന്ന ഒരുപാട് ദിവസമുണ്ട്. മഴ വന്നാൽ മീൻ പെരുത്ത് കിട്ടുന്ന ദിവസം ഉണ്ടാകും, ഒരുപാട് ദിവസം മീൻ കിട്ടത്തില്ല.
Kumaran and his crew venture far out to sea. The coming monsoon makes the sea choppy. Sudden downpours could flood the boat within minutes. Off the coast of Viringam, Kumaran and his crew see the deadly storm brewing in the distance. Kumaran must use the wisdom handed down to him through generations to survive this encounter with nature and bring home the catch.
ഇന്ന ദശയ്ക്ക് ഇരുളേറുമ്പോൾ കാറ്റ് വരുന്നത് ഇങ്ങനെയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ എങ്ങനെ പോകണം വരണം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് നമ്മുടെ വലിയവർ നമുക്ക് പറഞ്ഞു തന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. ആ ദിശയിലാണ് ഞങ്ങൾ പോകുന്നത്. അതനുസരിച്ച് തന്നെ പണിക്ക് പോകുമ്പോൾ തിരിച്ച് വരുന്നത്.
Now the clouds tell Kumaran that the heavy rain is approaching. It is time to return to Viringam Harbour. Kumaran and his crew hold their lines. Safely back on the beach, they take stock of their day's work. They have a good catch, one that is large enough to feed their families of the lean days that lie ahead, and even have some leftover fish to sell in the market. The monsoon sweeps from the ocean northwards across India. The mountains in Meghalaya, in the northeast of the country, push the warm, moist air above 4,000 feet. The condensing clouds then burst. and dump over 450 inches of rainfall each year on the land below. The result is the wettest place on Earth. And a unique challenge for the people who live here. Meghalaya is home to the Khasis, an indigenous tribe who have lived off this land for generations. Elben is a Khasi born and raised in these hills, living in a village near Cherrapunji. He works as a porter and carries vital supplies by foot between communities along a network of ancient mountain paths. But Elben must negotiate big natural obstacles along the way. A view from the air reveals how water shaped the rugged terrain here. Elben must cross steep-sided gorges carved into the rock by fast-flowing streams to reach his destination. During the monsoon rains, these raging torrents of water feed into waterfalls and are impossible to wade across. Entire communities can be cut off. But the Khasi people have come up with an ingenious solution. Bridges made from the roots of rubber trees.
सबसे ज़्यादा बारिश तो चिरापुंजी में हो, इसलिए वो रोड ब्रिज पहला वाला लोग तो बना लिया, क्योंकि अगर रोड ब्रिज नहीं बनाएगा तो हम लोग तो जाने नहीं मिलेंगे, क्योंकि पानी ज़्यादा बड़ा है ना.
The Khasi people have built root bridges here for over 100 years. They are made from exposed roots that grow big in the thin mountain soil. The Khasi train these roots to grow across the streams. The bridge builders then rope together multiple roots to make platforms, threading them across bamboo poles. They intertwine and grow stronger to make sturdy decks as the trees age over the decades. Eventually, the bamboos are removed. A mature root bridge can stretch up to 250 feet long. It can hold as many as 35 people at one time. Thanks to these ingenious root bridges, Elben can safely cross the rivers that become swollen during the monsoon season and deliver supplies to Khasi villages across the mountains in Meghalaya. The landmass containing India was its own separate continent until 50 million years ago. The aftermath of its collision with Eurasia shaped India's landscape, and over the years, mighty geological formations have crafted many wonders of nature across the nation. One such site is situated in the heart of the country, in the state of Madhya Pradesh. It's early morning in Bhedaghat. A group of boys gather atop a cliff above the Narmada River. The boys' 100-foot tall diving platform is made from a stack of marble. The rock started life as layers of fossil laid down over millions of years. The Earth's intense heat and pressure transformed them into a crystalline form. And over time, flowing water carved these marble rocks into a spectacular 3-mile-long gorge. The marble here contains high amounts of magnesium. This makes the rocks soft. The strong flow of the Narmada has molded one of India's most spectacular natural wonders. The Dhuadhar Falls. Dhuadhar means flow of smoke. The river falls almost 100 feet, causing huge clouds of smoke-like mist. From here, the water moves upstream through the towering marble cliffs that make the perfect spots for cliff diving. There is one natural wonder in the country that owes its origin to something that is out of this world. Lonar Lake is a mystery. It is unlike any other body of water in India. The lake is 500 feet deep. The water here is both alkaline and saline, and on the banks are pools of fresh water. A clue to unlocking why lies in the lake's unique topography. From the air, we see that the lake sits in a depression, hemmed in on all sides by a steep 450-foot tall slope. What could create a lake with such bizarre topography? A curious terrain with patches of life and emptiness. A satellite view reveals the answer. Lonar Lake lies inside an impact crater. Scientists believe that an asteroid weighing around 2 million tons crashed in central India around 50,000 years ago. The crater filled with water. Then life appeared. Around a decade ago, scientists discovered special organisms living in the water of Lonar Lake. Study suggests one type of bacteria here uses the Earth's magnetic field to navigate. Some believe that the origins of a few of these life forms could lie elsewhere in our solar system. Scientists continue their search for answers to the mystery of Lonar Lake. India's land border of over 9,000 miles circles some of the country's natural wonders. The political relationship between India and Pakistan can sometimes make these international borders some of the most volatile in the world. A border area with Pakistan is in the state of Rajasthan. The Thar Desert covers an area of over 77,000 square miles, roughly the same size as Nebraska in the United States. And the job of securing this 646-mile-long frontier falls on the Elite Border Security Force, or BSF. Formed in 1965, it is considered India's first line of defense. It's 9 a.m. at a remote border post in Rajasthan. Constable Julie Devi assembles her squad. She is one of the Mahila Prahari, women soldiers who are tasked with monitoring the border here.
मुझे यहाँ पे जॉब करते हुए 8 साल हो गए हैं। मेरे फादर भी ये सब में थे। उनको देख के मुझे ऐसा लगा कि मैं भी ये यूनिफॉर्म है जो इसको पहनूं और बॉर्डर पे ड्यूटी कर।
सावधान, वैश्राम। आज हम बीओपी नलका के एरिया ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी में पेट्रोलिंग करने जा रहे हैं। आपके पेट्रोलिंग कमांडर होंगे कांस्टेबल जूली देवी।
Today, Julie must venture deep into the desert.
Party move!
Their job is to guard the Indian borders against unlawful activities. Julie assigns 3 BSF soldiers to accompany her on patrol. The rest of the squad stays behind to guard the border post. Temperatures in the Thar Desert can reach up to 120 degrees Fahrenheit.
सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज तो हमारे लिए राजस्थान में रहना है और यहाँ पे सबसे डिफ़िकल्ट है यहाँ की गर्मी, यहाँ की धूल भरी आंधी, जो कि यहाँ पे थोड़ा ड्यूटी करने में प्रॉब्लम होता है।
Despite the scorching heat and adverse conditions, the dedication of the BSF troops sets them a class apart. The BSF uses camels to navigate the desert. It is the only armed force that has an operational camel contingent as a force multiplier. Out on patrol, Julie and her 3 squad members each ride with a trained camel handler. These animals are perfectly adapted to operate here. Studies show they can survive without water for a long period of time. Their wide feet spread the load of their bodies to keep them stable on loose, shifting sands. When required, they can run at 40 miles an hour in short bursts. Julie reaches the location of some reported suspicious activity. She discovers footprints in this restricted area. It's likely they were made by a human. Julie believes the footprints are evidence of illegal movement. they could belong to a smuggler or a terrorist. Julie reports her findings to the post commander.
अल्फा 54 कंट्रोल रिपोर्ट ओवर। सर हमें फुटप्रिंट मिला है।
The commandant receives the incident report.
सर हमारे एरिया देख के काउंटर पार्ट की तरफ हरकत हुई है सर।
इसके अलावा कोई हरकत?
नो सर, कोई हरकत नहीं।
All further action is classified. Julie and her team mount up and move out to continue the patrol. 550 Mahila Praharis like them monitor this stretch of India's border. They endure one of the harshest of India's natural wonders to keep their country safe and secure. India reveals a nation of spectacular and diverse natural wonders. From above, some are the work of mighty geological processes. Others are crafted by humans to overcome the challenges of their environment. India's spectacular landscape is shaped by its unique geography, history, and people.